start the recording. I'm going to get started. So, hello everybody officially. So I've been greeting people in the background. Yes, I know you're the dragonfly lady. So cool. The dragonfly lady. Well, it's very ominous, that sound. Yeah. Okay, so welcome. Just you can keep coming on now. There's quite a few of us here, so it's lovely to see you all tonight. And yeah, we're going to be talking about the law of clarity and giving some information. So as a starting point, I'm going to ask for everybody to please make sure your microphones are off. So if you can keep your microphones off, that would be great. There's no need for you to have them on, but what you can do is please use the chat box. The chat box is available, so if you want to familiarize yourself where the chat box is, and that's going to be a way that you can share your reflections, your thoughts, your insights, and it's wonderful for me to see your thoughts coming through and your questions and any reflections that come through as we go through it. So please keep your chat box on, and you can do that. Natasha, I think you are muted, so I think I've muted everybody. You can also keep your microphones, your videos off, unless you would like them on. There's going to be a couple of times in the talk where I will bring, I will tell you to switch them on if we need to, but you don't need to. And then if you want to, you can always click on my video, the video that has me on it, and you can say pin video. In that way, I am always on your screen. So if you want to make sure you can always see me, if that's important for you, then you can pin that there, and that will give you me on your screen. So tonight we're going to be going through the law of clarity. I'll be explaining a little bit more of that. We're going to be spending some time exploring this law. There's always information that's come forward for me before I do the talks, but also as we go through tonight, information will come forward, and so there's always this sort of manifesting that happens when we do these webinars. It's a wonderful thing. I am recording the webinar, and so you will get a link to the recording tomorrow, and it will also be on YouTube. So this is going to be one of the videos that goes live on YouTube, so just to be aware of that. But please know that the chat box is not recorded, so the chat box, anything you put in the chat box is private between us. However, if you ask a question on there, I will name it so that we can talk about it on here. So we will be doing the recording. There's lots of people, there's probably people you know, and some people that are brand new to working with me. So it's wonderful to have you all online. And I must admit, I'm probably as interested and curious as you are to see what manifests tonight and what comes up tonight as we go through this this journey of the various spiritual laws. And tonight, as I said, we're working with the law of clarity. So just to give you a little bit of background of where this webinar comes from, where this workshop's come from. Just want to see if that's a bit better. When we kind of went into this period of lockdown, when COVID-19 kind of became something that hit us and became a reality for us, I started to, in my meditations and in the various times when I was sitting in stillness and quietness, I started to have this overwhelming sense of dragonflies coming forward to me. There was a presentation of dragonflies in a number of different ways to me, and I don't even know what it meant, and those of you that have been working with me for a while will know that you know, sometimes I'm a little resistant to the guidance that comes forward, or it takes me a little while to figure it out. At the same time, I found the lockdown period initially to be really, really quite difficult, as many of us did, and sort of the emotional processing of not only my own coming to terms with this trauma that had hit the world, but coming to terms with the impact it was having on the group consciousness. And so I decided one day to take out my watercolor paints, which I've been wanting to use for some time and haven't been doing that. And lo and behold, what I started painting was dragonflies. And you can see on your screen the first dragonfly that I painted. And there's a point to why I'm telling you all of this. From that first dragonfly, a whole lot of dragonfly cards emerged. And you can see them here in front of you. So this combination of dragonflies with sacred geometry symbols started to flow out of me. And I really didn't know what they were about, or what to do with them and why they were there. And I just, as I do, and you'll see how that is part of the law of clarity in itself, is I just followed the inspiration and started to just paint these cards. And as I started to paint with them, what I started to get a lot of guidance around is that these cards were representations of the various spiritual laws. And the spiritual laws was something that I was being guided very strongly to talk about. And so let's explore this a little bit, both this concept of spiritual laws, but also the dragonfly. And the dragonfly, if I start there, comes forward as a very strong inspiration for this work, because the dragonfly has existed for over 300 million years on Earth. And has evolved continuously through every transformation that has existed on Earth. There's evidence of dragonflies with up to, I think it's 30 meters wingspan through some stages. So dragonflies have this extraordinary ability to navigate Earth and stay present to the transformations that are happening. They have never gone extinct. And so this ability to evolve is what became the name of this program, Evolve. And the law of clarity is the very first law that they are wanting to talk about. The other things that are really, really beautiful around dragonflies is their perspective. So dragonflies have eyes that have a 360-degree view. And so they're one of the only creatures that can see things from multiple perspectives. And also when they can fly forward, backwards, up and down. So they can fly in multiple directions. There's many other fascinating facts around dragonflies that we'll explore tonight or in the course as a whole. But it's a beautiful thing to notice that this sort of totem comes forward, and the dragonflies come forward as the guide for this journey, the guide for transformation. How do we navigate times of change, and how do we use the spiritual laws? So if I talk about the spiritual laws, which is the part that you're more interested in, which is why you're here, is the spiritual laws are a set of sort of guidelines and principles that come forward from the divine, the universe, source, however you want to talk about it, as sort of principles. So it's not laws in the same way as we think of law in our mind, whereas if we do it, we'll get rewarded, and if we don't, we'll get into trouble. These are more principles. They're energetic alignments. They sort of the sort of tools in our tool chest that if we could allow ourselves to embrace the teaching, embrace the offering, embrace the gift of it, we will be able to manifest and flow and create and transform and ascend life in different ways. And so there's many, many, many channels that have brought forward spiritual laws in many different ways. And over time, there's been commonality that's come up with many of them. And for whatever reason, I've been guided to be bringing forward information around some of the spiritual laws in a support for us as we navigate this time on Earth and this time of transition. And so the dragonfly you see here on the right with the blue triangles that we'll talk about a little bit more, that is the dragonfly that represents the law of clarity. And the law of clarity is the very specific law that you have all expressed an ideal and an interest in and want to work with. And so that is what we are working with tonight. But you can see here all the other beautiful dragonfly cards, and those that have asked me for sets of the cards, I'm busy looking at how we can do that. So I thought it could be fun for you to have a look at these ones, ignore the law of clarity for right now, have a look at these ones and pick out which ones are calling you tonight. So pick out 1 or 2 that call you tonight. And you can just hold that in your mind's eye in terms of which dragonflies are calling your attention. And as I flip over to the next slide, you're going to see what law that dragonfly represents. And that might give you some insight or clue of something that you are needing to work with tonight. And so as I flip over to the next page, you'll see the various names of the different laws, and please share in the chat box which law has called you tonight, which law has asked you to be present to it. So you'll see here, this is the law of non-interference, the law of grace, the law of karma, the law of one, the law of faith, law of attachment, the law of decree, which you might not know what that is, law of surrender, law of frequency and vibration, law of abundance, the law of gratitude. So just I see some comments coming forward. Law of karma, decree, karma and one. Gratitude, says Wendy, karma and one. Beautiful. Law of non-interference and attachment, says Amy. How appropriate. Law of surrender and frequency. Oh, they're all coming forward now. So that may give you a sort of interesting perspective of which law is calling you tonight. And we're obviously not talking about all the laws tonight, but you may want to look into those laws a bit more for yourself. Very cool. Abundance, frequency, attachment. Karma seems to be coming up quite a bit. Now, this is this beautiful yin and yang card here. Beautiful. So I hope you enjoy the dragonflies as much as I've enjoyed them, and they certainly have been speaking very loudly and want to take us on quite a beautiful journey. So we'll see where that unfolds. So the law of clarity. The law of clarity is the focus for tonight, and what I will be doing tonight is taking you through clarity as an idea, what the law of clarity is about, how we work with it. And I will be doing a meditation guided by Archangel Gabriel, and through the evening talk about the various things that Archangel Gabriel and the dragonflies and the law brings forward in terms of how you can work with this tonight. I love this. Non-interference is coming up for many of you. Nikki has a little face there. Okay, so clarity. When you think of clarity, or this idea of clarity, I want you to think of the words that you would associate with clarity, and you can type those into the chat box if you like whilst I start to speak. Is the law of clarity asks us to firstly sit still and become present and become clear. If I have a jar of water, and in the water is a lot of sand and turmoil, when I place that jar still on the counter, the sediment can all go to the bottom, and then we can see what is going on. But if I keep shaking things up, if I keep questioning, if I keep moving around, if I keep doing things, then we can't get clear. So the very first thing that the law of clarity is about is sit still and pay attention and let's get clear. Now the paradox of that, and we need to understand that with all the laws there's going to be the paradox, is that you're going to see there is an aspect of action that comes up with the law of clarity. Is we do need to act, but we need to act from a place of stillness. So we're getting clear thinking, quiet time, and acceptance coming up. Insight, understanding, and focus. So beautiful. Share all the words that come up for you when you think of clarity. So the law of clarity is the following things. It's the ability to see things as they are. Not as we want them to be, not as we think they should be, not as we hope they could be, but as they are. What is going on in front of me? What is the perspective of reality that is going on? And when I say reality, we know that there is many versions of that, and I'll talk a bit more about that tonight. So you get beautiful light, unencumbered peace, Oh, iridescence, isn't that a beautiful word? Crystal, luminescence. Oh, I love it. There's the right people in the right room. So if the law of clarity is the ability for us to see things as they are, we can then start to face truth. And truth is a really important component of what is needed for our own path, for our own expansion, for our own ability to be focused and committed. We need to come to the place of facing our own truth. And in the world at this point in time, there's a lot of questions around what is the truth. Yeah, there's a lot of opinions, a lot of thoughts, a lot of questions, a lot of conspiracies, a lot of things. What is the truth? And we'll talk a little bit tonight about truth, but as a starting point, truth always feels light, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's difficult, even if it's something that I may not want to hear, it feels light. When something feels heavy, draining, depleting, then that is a very strong indication that there's an aspect of truth that is missing from it. So as you face the truth, you'll become clearer about what you want and what to do. So only when we see things as they are and we face the truth are we able to then make decisions and choices about what to do. And those clear decisions, when we get clear about our decision making, it leads to committed, inspired action. One of the most beautiful ways that I have heard clarity being spoken about is by Abraham Hicks. And they talk about clarity is alignment. Clarity feels like everything lines up. And so it aligns with authenticity and integrity, but it feels like everything is lined up. Everything in my pathway lines up. There's nothing distracting, pulling me in opposite directions. It all just lines up and fits together. And if you see the picture of the dragonfly here, you can see how these mosaics, these triangles, and remember triangles in sacred geometry are one of the most stable symbols we've got, is the stability, but how it all fits together. Everything just has its place and fits together. It's in alignment. Everything is lining up the way it needs to be. And so you can start to just think for yourself as we start to explore this law of clarity. Where do I feel like I'm out of alignment? Where do I feel like I'm being pulled in many directions, or that things are not all lining up? Now, when things line up, it does mean that things are going to flow. It doesn't mean it's always, it will be easy, but it doesn't mean there's no work. There will be activity and action. But starting to notice, when do I feel aligned and when do I feel out of alignment? This is an indication of the need for clarity. So as I'm talking, you're more than welcome to type up any questions or reflections if that comes up. This is a very busy slide and you really do not need to read it all unless you feel like it's something that's important for you. But words hold frequency. So when we start to put vowels and consonants and words together, we need to understand that there's a frequency in that. And over the last few years, the guides have been very awakened to that, or been waking me up to that, to be more specific, is starting to look at the frequency behind words. What's the frequency when we say faith or love? And in order to do that, we need to sometimes go back to where the language came from and how that language has evolved, because we sometimes have lost touch with the truth of what we are saying and the truth of what is going on. When we look at the source of clarity, I love that, what's happened there? I love that as it came up as brightness, radiance, glory, and it says here splendor, but it's actually divine splendor. So clarity is seeing things in divine splendor. It's being able to see it in the truth of what it is, from the divine perspective. It makes things bright, and I love the idea that it brings clearness and glory. So you can see some of the words that come here. But the most important thing of clarity is it leads us to the word clear. And clear is the most important dynamic around clarity, is to get clear, to be clear, to embrace things that are clear. And when you have a look at clear, and there's many ways of looking at it, I looked at it from an adjective perspective, not from a verb, but it's giving light, shining, luminescence. So you should see some of the words that you were talking about. And this was beautiful for me. Allowing light to pass through, free from impurities, morally pure, guiltless, and innocent. So this is the ability to see through all the lenses that we place in front of ourselves, to see something through the eyes of the light, to see something in its most pure form, and to just notice it. And we'll see a lot of indication of manifestation. So the law of clarity is directly related to the ability to manifest what you want. One of the major reasons in readings that I get given for people when they say, but how come I don't ever get what I want? And they say, well, you're not clear about what you want. You keep saying you want this, then you want that, then you say it's not really important. Your actions don't show that you're aligned with that clarity. You might say we want something and then say a whole lot of things the rest of the day. So this pulling us in different directions means that we do not manifest it. The most important part of the law of clarity, the most important thing for you to start to get when you start saying the word clarity is to be clear. Clarity is to be clear. Clear in your thoughts, clear in your words, clear in your body, clear in your space, clear in your mind, clear in your actions. And when we say clear, clear has a sense of focus, a sense of calm. Clear relates to clean. It's cleaned up. It's cleaned up of doubt. It's cleaned up of despair. It's cleaned up of judgment. It's clean. And so when something gets cleaned, it gets clear. And so we need to start noticing, what do we need to clean up for us to get clear? Do we need to clean up our thinking? Do we need to clean up our environment? Do we need to clean up our body? What do we need to clear, to clean up, to get clear? And the other very beautiful relationship with this is that to be clear aligns with the clairs. Clairvoyant, clairauditory, clairsentient, claircognizant, all the various tools that we use to communicate with spirit, to align ourselves with spirit, are from a clear seeing, clear knowing, clear hearing, clear feeling perspective. When I teach Lifting the Veil, which is a course where I teach people how to channel and how to do readings, the first thing I say to them is, how are we going to get clear? How do we remove the obstacles to being able to do what it is that you need to do? And here's a little demonstration of it. You're all looking at me on screen right now, and most of you can hopefully see me quite clearly. But if I had to do this, what I've done is I put some spray over there, and then I've had to clean it up. But in the process of doing that, there's this process of it being quite foggy, of it being quite misted over. And the more I put on there, the more I interfere with what's going on there. The more difficult it is for you to see me, to see what's going on. And that's the demonstration of the distinction between how clearly do you see your life, how clearly do you see your world, how clearly do you see what's going on, or is it through these foggy, misty layers that we need to clear up? And the truth of it is we all see things through the foggy, misty layers. through all the things that we have in between what is going on and what we're seeing and the way we see things. And so a lot of tonight is going to be helping to clean up that vision, clear up that perspective, clear up what is going on for us. And so when we look at clarity is to be clear, the first thing that the guides come forward with and really want to bring to your awareness is that you do not see things clearly as it is now. And facing that is not an indication of something being negative, it's an opportunity to clean up something. And there will be some things in your life that you see it very crystal clear. It's very clear what's going on. It's very clear what's happening here. It's also easier for us to see that in other people, isn't it? You can look at somebody else and you can see it's clear that's what's going on in their relationship. It's clear that's what's going on in their work life. It's clear that that's the reality, that the person can't see it themselves. And we need to notice what those lenses are, what those things are that make things misty. And so when we look at clarity is to be clear. We can see it from 4 things that we're going to be working on tonight. We need to get clearer about what you see, think, and feel. So where are you attached to your perspective? And where can you start to be open to changing your perspective? If you all bring to your mind something that you are struggling with, something that you are battling with, something that is a struggle for you, something that you do not have a pathway forward on at this point. As you bring that into your mind's eye, the first thing that you can become aware of is that the way you're seeing it is not clearly. You are seeing it through the lens of frustration, the lens of your hurt, the lens of anger, the lens of worry. Whatever is happening, the lens of insecurity, so many different ways we'll explore tonight, that impacts the ability to see it clearly. And the ego, the mind, the part of us that has a personality that wants to perform in life can get very attached to our perspective. And when we become attached to our perspective, we are unable to open up to see something differently. To be able to shift your perspective is the first skill to be able to embrace the law of clarity, is that I am open to shifting my perspective. I'm open to seeing and thinking and feeling about something differently. Now, the next thing is, are you clear about where you are and what is going on right now? So I'm looking at things and I'm seeing things, and what I think I'm seeing may not be actually what's going on. That's point number 1. But where am I? What is happening right now? What is going on in this space right now? What are you co-creating? What is the experience you are having right now? Are you clear about that? Are you in the present experience of your life? Are you owning that and taking accountability for that? And are you open to changing what's going on now for you to be able to shift what's going on in the future? Now that's going to sound like a really interesting thing to explore, is that the only way that I can co-create is accountability for the now. And so many of us are focused on what we want in the future and the way it should be. I have many people who say to me, I want to learn how to manifest. And so you don't have to learn how to manifest, you have to notice what you are manifesting. And notice what creates that. How are you manifesting what is going on for you right now? And so how do you manifest something different? Requires you to be present to what you're doing now. I hope that makes sense. So we'll talk about all 4 of these things a bit more. The next thing is, are you clear about what you want? Can you state what you want and need? Can you be direct, unapologetic, even demanding? The law of decree that you saw in the earlier slide about the dragonflies and the various laws, the law of decree is about demanding, this is what I want. It's about stating it in absolute clarity that that's what I want. How do you get clear about what you want? Are you allowed to? Is it okay? And then clear about what you do. What I mean by this is so many of us think about what we want to do, but we don't actually do it. And so where I said earlier, the law of clarity is about getting still and being present to what's going on. We also do need to start taking action, doing what we need to do. And so tonight's webinar, I'm going to be taking you through exercises around these 4 aspects and giving you some thoughts and tools around what we can do. But without a doubt, the one we're going to be spending the most amount of time on is the first one, getting clear about what you see, getting clear about what is going on for you. So let me pause there and just kind of get a sense, and some of you may have some aha moments. I call them BFOs, blinding flashes of obviousness, or awarenesses coming up for you, or thoughts coming up for you, or things coming up for you. It's just in the chat box. Take a minute just to share what's something you're becoming aware of as I'm talking about the law of clarity. And let's just get a couple of you to share at this point. So those of you that are on a phone, I know it's a little bit more challenging to do that. Just get a sense of what is coming up for you at this point. Let's see. There's always this awkward moment where things are coming up. As you start to type in there and just share your awarenesses and your thoughts with me, you can start to look at the painting for the law of clarity. And one of the things that the guides keep bringing up is, what do you see on this picture? Do you see all the triangles? Do you see the splotches of light? Do you see the diamond shapes? How many triangles are there? So Cheryl's saying, sitting in my own creation. Beautiful. Okay. All right, Sandra, what have I done to be on this path? Why am I here? Aware of obstacles, what I create to prevent myself from moving forwards. Yep, well done. Angela says there are blockages in allowing yourself to see clearly. Yeah, exactly right. Yep, getting real, Christina. Facing the truth, yeah. Aware of conflicts and not seeing clearly. Exactly, in conflict situations, it's very difficult to see it clearly. Suzanne says, I had a moment of clarity just before this that made me feel clarity about going back to teach. Okay. All right, I want to change my path, not sure how to start. Lovely. Okay, Amy, awesome. All right, Alida, beautiful awareness. The confusion I create by not aligning my heart and my thoughts. Okay, Mandy's awareness of how confused I am. Okay. The why of reason, the why of meaning. That's it, Margot. We'll talk a bit more of that. Okay, so you're starting to just get some thoughts around the law of clarity. Is not one that's, you know, I hate when I say these things because it's a kind of a double-edged way that I'm going to talk about it. It is magical. When I can get clear, everything is magical. But to get clear, I have to be prepared to face things. I have to be able to look up, look out, look beyond, look through, look in, look at things from multiple perspectives. And so being able to be brave enough to confront, to see, is a really, really big ask. To see myself to see my actions, to see my words, to truly see it in the place of truth, is not something that requires judgment. It's something that requires compassion. Exactly right, Cheryl. Yeah. Oh, Suzanne's in the process of clearing out her Wendy house, confronting so much from my past. Beautiful. Okay, Suzanne, being brave enough to confront my hoarding. So you guys are going to see a lot more of that later on. So we're going to talk about a lot more of these. Oh, Ashley, I'm so glad you're at peace, my darling. So as we start to think of the law of clarity, I also want to bring in to what extent you are able to be a truth speaker in the world, to what extent you can be somebody that brings clarity to others. A healer is somebody that can bring clarity, can speak truth. They can speak truth in a way that is loving and kind and brings awareness, that brings that insight, illuminates, and can show what needs to be seen so it can be faced. So it's a really important skill, not only for self, but also when I want to work with others and being able to do that. A way of describing the law of clarity is to think of a time or think of something where you can see things where they're not so clear. What I mean by this is, let's imagine two people are in a relationship and the one person does not want to be in that relationship anymore, but does not want to tell the person because they don't want to hurt their feelings. So lives with that story in their head of wanting to leave that relationship, that I don't like being here, it's not good for me, all these things, coming up with stories after stories after stories, but in behavior is with this person. Every time this person says, is everything okay? Yes, it's fine, there's no problem. There's a splitness of energy here that interrupts the entire lining up of everything that's going on here. The person that is not saying they want to leave the relationship is being kind, is being thoughtful, is being gentle, but in the undercurrent is not being kind, is not being gentle, because this person can feel there's something, or maybe doesn't even know, is oblivious, because all the behaviors say, I want you. But all the energy says, I don't want to be with you. And the day that that person can be brave enough to face it, to face the pain, to face the truth, to face, I don't want to be in this relationship, and to deal with the thing that comes from that, is the day that everybody becomes free. And so now everybody can start moving forward because it's clear. And so clear doesn't have to always feel like it's what I wanted, but it's clear. And if it's clear, I can do something with it. But when you're unclear, I can't. It's the same if you've ever worked for a boss. They can't be clear about what they want you to do. It causes confusion. It causes extra work. It causes pain. It causes panic. How do we get clear? And knowing that clarity, facing that, means we will need to make changes. So clarity brings action. Clarity brings momentum. Clarity shifts us from being unstuck. But in order to be clear, we have to face the truth. And in order to face the truth, we have to be very, very brave. So if we have a look at the next slide, we can see this picture. And this picture is real. I want you to take a minute if you haven't seen this before. This picture is real. The stone is real. The trees are real. The soil is real, the sky is real. Everything in this picture, it has not been photoshopped, it has not been edited. It is a completely real picture. So there's no lies going on in this picture. But most of you are going to be trying to figure out why the rock is elevated, how the rock is suspended. Yeah? But if you have a look at it, if we just flip the picture around, you can see what Margot's saying. Is you just need to be able to see it from a different perspective. Some of you have been able to see that quite quickly. That it's not suspended in air. That it's not this that somebody would try and prove something around. That there's a perspective shift, and when we shift the perspective, we can see it very differently. And the law of clarity requires us to flip things upside down, to move it into a different perspective, to see it from an alternative view. Think of that thing that I was talking to you about earlier, where you were, the thing that you feel stuck in, the thing that you feel confronted with, the thing that is going on that you don't feel able to move forward in. How do you flip it around? How do you shift that so that you can do it differently? A very practical example I'll give you around this is Eric, my partner, was working with a client, and the client's problem, the presenting problem she had in the corporate space, was that the team that she was working with, the kind of work that she was doing, the team that she had, nobody stayed longer than 2 years. In the past 6 or 7 years of her running the business, people would join, they'd be fine, and sort of within 12 to 18 months, they'd start getting bored and they'd want to move, and she would see within 2 years people were moving on. And so she started the engagement with him around the perspective of, how do I get people to stay? And his question to her was, if nobody wants to stay, what if you stop leading it that way? What if you led it in such a way that people had to leave? If I flipped it around and I said, okay, well, if it's clear everybody wants to leave after 2 years, don't try and make them stay. But what would you change if you only expected people to stay for 2 years? And in that, I only expect people to change for 2 years, she said, I would change everything about how I run the business. He says, well, what if we did that? And that became momentum for them. They shifted the entire business around that perspective shift. Instead of fighting reality for what it is and feeling stuck because it shouldn't be this way because I want it to be different, how do I flip it around and bring it to what it is? And so you can start to think, and I want you just to, in your own mind, and if you want to share anything you can, but you don't have to, is the thing that you feel stuck in, what do you need to flip around? What do you need to shift and look at it from the opposite perspective? If the thing you didn't want is the thing you needed, if the thing you regretted is the thing that has a gift for you, if the person you're fighting is something that you need to see in yourself, what do you need to flip around? What do you need to see differently? The question itself may bring you to awareness, but it may actually be something really hard for you to see. And so you may need other people to show you what's the perspective that I need to see this through. And so we all know this statement, this exactly right, Christina, I love how you're thinking, because that's where we're going right now, is we don't see things as they are. We see them as we are. So the lens that we have on the world, if you think back to when I sprayed on my camera, we are seeing things through the mist and the fog of our own insecurities, our own difficulties, our own pain and our own judgments, etc., etc. And one of the biggest things that we are unable to see clearly is ourselves. I have said the following words to so many people and to so many clients, is that if you could only see yourself through the lens of the divine, you would never ever have self-esteem issues again. If you could only see yourself through the eyes of love and compassion and kindness, there would be a completely different perspective you would have of yourself. And so we're going to do an exercise now. We're going to do an exercise of looking in the mirror. And so I am going to go out of this presentation for a few minutes. I'm going to stop sharing the presentation. And so we're going to come back to where you all are. And what I'd like you all to do is I want you to please switch on your cameras. So you can keep your microphones off, but you're all going to switch on your cameras. There you are. And fix yourself. Make sure everybody can see how beautiful you are now, yeah? Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to find your picture. It should be relatively easy for you to do. And I want you to click on the 3 dots at the top and I want you to say, pin that video. You might even, so pin that video. So you're all going to pin yourself. Can you do that? Can everybody do that? And so hopefully you can see that reflection of yourself in front of you. So you should all be able to look at yourself on the screen. Something everybody loves doing, seeing yourself on video. Yeah? Okay. If it's possible to make the picture of yourself big for yourself to see it, you can do that. So that might be putting it onto, I don't think you can do that on speaker view, but I want you to be able to see yourself in the screen. Okay. Got it. If you've got it, you can give me a thumbs up, like you all got it. And all see yourselves. Right. Now you are not going to focus on anybody else. You're going to focus on yourself. You're going to look at the screen for the next, I don't know, 30, 40 seconds. We'll see how long it takes. And I want you, if you have a piece of paper, which hopefully you do, is to write down on the piece of paper. If you don't have a piece of paper, you can just start thinking about it. Everything you see in the video in front of you. So you're not looking at anybody else, you're just looking at the video of yourself. And I want you all to write down everything you see. At least 10 things, but you can keep going. What do you see? Just what do you see? As you look at yourself. And for as long as I stay silent, you just keep writing down. Look at your face, look at your body, look around the room. What do you see just as you look in that mirror? What do you see? Right. You all got some stuff going on. Okay. So I want you to have a look at that list. And I want you to realize that some of those things that you've put on that list are lies. Because they will be your judgment, not the fact of what you're seeing. So you're going to see something through the lens of how you think it is, not how it actually is. Does that make sense when I say that? Can you see that? So now we're going to do something, and many of you are going to, at this point, go, oh no, why is she doing this? But it's because I'm a healer and I always do what I'm told to do. Is I am going to put you into some breakout rooms. So you're going to be partnered with somebody. You're going to end up with somebody in a room. You don't know the person, maybe you do, maybe you don't, it doesn't matter. When you end up in the room with each other, so let's imagine I end up in a room with Eshwari, so her and I will be in the room, you're going to have your cameras on, you're going to introduce yourselves to each other, you're going to be very nice because you're all nice human beings, so you're going to go, hi, I'm Taryn, hi, I'm Eshi, that's all you need to know. You don't need to know anything more about each other. And then I'm going to look at you and tell you 10 things I see. And you're going to look at me and tell me 10 things you see. So I'm just going to list what I see. I'm not going to give you an opinion. I'm not going to say, I think you're pretty, I think you're lovely. I'm just going to say, this is what I see. I see this, 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 I see this. And just notice the experience of being seen by someone else. You don't have to all fix your hair. You're beautiful the way you are. You just leave it be. So I'm going to put you in those rooms and I'm going to give you sort of 3-4 minutes. It's not a long exercise, just to introduce yourself. What do you see? And then you're going to come back to the main room here. So let's do this. So there are 40, so some people have dropped off because they don't want to be seen. Right, let's see. Should do it. Okay. Let me just move this person here. Let me just move this person here. All right, off you go. All you have to do is say join the room, and you'll be in a room with someone. You're going to see, just share what you see. Okay. Tanya and Corey, I don't know if you're there. Hello, Beryl. Can't hear you.
There was no one in my room.
But yes, you had to look at yourself again.
Oh, really? Oh, is that all?
I don't know why they knew around. Sorry.
Okay, so what do I do? Just go back in? What do I do?
No, fine. We'll just have to listen to the experience. It'll be fine. Sorry. And you were partnered with somebody, but some people might not be online.
Okay. Do you want me to switch off my voice?
Yeah, you can switch off your microphone. There you go. Right. So, was that an interesting experience? Those of you that did actually have a partner. No? So, let us see. What are you aware of? Oh, sorry, Brigitte. Too short, too short. Shall I send you all back? We don't have enough time, otherwise I'll be going over time. But what were you aware of, Margot? What was beautiful around it? So just all switch your microphones off now. So what's beautiful about it, Margot? So you guys can just in the chat box, just let me know, what was that like? What was it? It was amazing, says Brigitte. Oh, we could not hear each other. That's sad. I feel so enhanced. Okay. Diane, I don't know why you couldn't hear each other. She was spot on. I loved it. Okay. So is there somebody willing to come on and tell me what that experience was like for you? So I just want to talk to 2 or 3 people maximum. just to get your perspective of what that experience was like for you. So if anybody's willing to come on, know that you're going to be recorded and you're going to be part of the forever you will be on YouTube as talking to me. So yeah, this is your moment. So wonderful to see Francesca. Who's willing to come online and just chat to me about what that was like? Just to share your reflections. Come on, somebody's brave enough. So I'll pick someone. I'll pick on Margot, because I always pick on Margot as a starting point. And then somebody else can volunteer after that. Margot, you willing to come online?
Yeah, happy to share. So thank you. I was paired with Nikki. Nikki and I actually know each other. So what was beautiful from my perspective was just listening to the words of truth, in the sense that these are things I've kind of pushed down. So kind of Nikki reminded me of kind of what's truthful, and yeah, kind of, and she phrased everything positively in the sense that she would say, "You look tired, but at the same time, I see this, and I see this, but I also see that." So it was almost kind of connecting the kind of duality, and it was super uplifting. So again, a lot more focused on strengths, and I kind of noticed that Kavita in the chat kind of said you could see a lot more than the personal or the physical traits, and that was it. So you can actually read the energy, and it was in reading the energy that you get a lot more information.
And did you have any of the same words that she had for you?
No, actually, no, not specifically. So they were all deeper, much. There was more depth to kind of feedback that I got. So I tend to have fairly superficial kind of traits, and when Nikki kind of spoke, it was very much more. I want to say traits at the level of character and soul.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming online. Who else would like to? I'd like to have 2 other people that are willing to just come share your experience of that. So if you found that to be particularly useful or moving for you, if you want to just come online and just share your perspective of it, that would be great.
Okay, Taryn, I'll jump in. So I think, yeah, it's just intuitive. You know, it's interesting where you don't know who you're going to get. So it's like a blank, literally a blank piece of paper. And I had met Tracy, so that was cool. Swapped a brief little information about, you know, she's in Durban, I'm in Joburg, and funny enough, she moved from Lone Hill, I'm in Lone Hill, so it's pretty cool. And then just kind of a blank piece of paper. So you get to just look at something really for the first time, absolutely for the first time, that you literally, you know, lay eyes on a person and just trust what's in your heart and what comes up, and just move with the flow and the essence. In that is clarity. So I guess that was kind of a cool experience. And once it kind of flowed, it popped, and one thing popped and led to another. And we didn't even count. So both of us just sort of popped, and when it ended, it ended. You know, when we were finished with the words, it was finished. So yeah, it was lovely. It was cool.
But you're all starting to get, those of you that were able to do that experience, and sorry, with so many online, maybe some of you didn't end up in a room with someone, or your cameras didn't work, or whatever, logistics. But are you starting to get the energy that's unleashed from clarity? That how much lighter it feels when somebody just says what's there, as opposed to, you know, the opinions of what's there and the perspectives of what I think is going on, and how difficult it is to see ourselves. That we look at ourselves through so many layers of criticism and judgment and insecurity, that we don't see ourselves the way we are. We don't see ourselves through the lens of clarity, that through the innocence, through the beauty, through the willingness to just explore that. I was reminded of beautiful things that I took for granted and forgot about. Exactly right. Anybody else want to share something before I go back to sharing the group as a whole? Cheryl, you want to share, my love? You switch off your mic. There you go.
That was a lovely experience. I shared with a delightful young woman who her vibrancy was just there, and I could just see it, and it was so nice because I could just see her behind the actual voice there. But I'll take it from my own perspective as well. That we shared one word, and it was smile. But it was so interesting. The other 10 words that I wrote down and what she saw were completely different. But what was great was she actually saw my personality so clearly, and she was so accurate. It was amazing. So that was very, very emotional. It was beautiful.
Beautiful experience, eh? Yeah. Christina says, I realize how judgmental I am on myself. I just don't want to see the good. And exactly that. So this idea that we don't even stop and pause and see ourselves through the lens of grace, through the lens of the divine, through the lens of beauty. Yeah? Beautiful. So I'm going to go back to the presentation now, and you're more than welcome to continue sharing on the chat box. But this exercise of looking in the mirror is really an exercise of learning to ask ourselves, what can I trust? Can I trust my own perspective? Can I trust my own opinions? Can I trust what I'm seeing? And the truth of this is that unless you are able to bypass quite a lot of your own insecurity, it's not that you can't trust it, you need to reevaluate it. You need to look again and look again and look again and look through the eyes of someone else, look through the eyes of the divine, look through the eyes of life. Because whilst I love what Margot said, is that Nikki could still say to her, you look tired, and you look like this, and you look like that. It's not dismissing what's there. If something's a mess, I can see a mess. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it is. And so the ability to access the law of clarity is to truly just look at things, but to clean that lens continuously. Because these are the things that blur reality for us. Judgment. Now you need to understand to not judge yourself for being judgmental, please. It's that as human beings, you have judgment. The mind judges continuously. There's judgment of self, there's judgment of other, there's judgment of the world. What we just need to get clear on is not to believe our judgments. Does it make sense when I say that? Not believing your judgments. A judgment is anything that you put into a category of good or bad, right or wrong, like, don't like, love, hate. These are judgments. And to not believe them. That's the part that we almost need to notice. Is that I hate my nose is a judgment. I have a nose that is larger than others is truth. I love my eyes is a judgment. I have blue eyes that many people comment on is a judgment of truth. It is a statement of truth. So being able to notice my judgments or evaluations and being able to drop them. So when we take the area of your life that you're stuck in, we need to look at all the things that you have evaluated it as and drop those. If I look at my bank account and there's not enough money, that might be a statement of fact. But there's not enough money, I'm such an idiot, I'm never going to do well in life, I've screwed up everything, I'm a waste of this. Those are judgments. They've got nothing to do with what's going on. And the judgments are red herrings. They stop us from being clear and they stop us from taking action. The judgments keep us trapped, not the situation. I'm going to say that again. The judgments keep me trapped, not the situation. So everything I feel stuck with has got to do with a judgment, not with reality. The next thing is opinion, which is very similar to judgment. I just listed it there because sometimes people say, well, it's just my opinion. Is your opinion of what you think is going on is not the same as what is going on. It's just my opinion that you look like you're trying too hard, or it's just my opinion that this is going on. Is when you have an opinion of something, know that an opinion is formed through some form of story that you've created in yourself. Projection is where I project myself onto you. So if I'm feeling sad, I can see your sadness. If I'm feeling insecure, I can see your insecurity. So I need to get clear of what do I project on the world. Personalizing things, taking things personally is a form of projection. Insecurity, exactly right, Christina, an illusion. It's an illusion. But now, the exercise we've just done now, where you looked in the mirror, how much of what you saw on the screen was a projection rather than reality? It's a hologram you've created. It's a way that you see yourself as opposed to what is just there. What is just there. So when we start looking at truth, I said to you, always feels lighter because it's a statement of that's what's going on without opinion, without judgment, without projection. Insecurity is the fear of what people are going to see. Are they going to see my failure? Are they going to see my lack of worth? And the truth is others don't see that at all. Doubt and shame and fear, all these things blur reality for us. So if I want to look at something, I have to bypass these lenses. This is the mist. This is this part that does that. It makes it all blurry, and then I have to go and clean it all up so that we can actually see what's going on. Yeah? And to clean it all up is to see things through the eyes of unconditional love. It's okay. There's no good, there's no bad. There's no right and there's no wrong. It just is. Through a lens of ownership. Ownership is, this is my body, this is my office, this is my home, this is my life. Whatever's going on here, I created. I need to own it. It's part of me. And owning something means I value it. I enjoy it. It's part of my existence. Acceptance, it is what it is. And that there are multiple facets to the way that we see things. You just experienced that firsthand, of the ability to see things clearly requires you to look at it without projections, opinions, judgments, just with love. And that love does not mean we're pretending. It means we're accurate. And when we're accurate, we can free ourselves up. We can start to move forward. So perspective, and when I do the meditation with you in a little while, I just want to talk about a few more things. I'm going to come back to this. Is I'm going to do a meditation with Archangel Gabriel to lead us through perspective and how we can see various things in our lives and moving it away from looking at it only through the microscope, but to see it through the telescope. And when we can see events, people, ourselves, life through this entire spectrum of the microscopic view of analysis to the telescopic view of wonder, and back again, because it exists within the same parameters, it exists within the same realities. But I can choose to focus here, or I can choose to focus here, or I can choose to see all of that together and how it alchemizes into something clearer. Sorry, excuse the dog if you can hear it. So Archangel Gabriel, I'll be taking us through a meditation with her now. So there's a picture of Archangel Gabriel from Carl Gray's deck, and I'll be leading you through there now. So I just want to talk about the remaining 3 points, and then I just want to get my son to sort out the dog. Sorry. Is the next point that we want to talk about is how clear are you of what's going on right now? My dog has decided that there's something clearly in his mind that he needs to be barking about. So how clear about where you are you, and what is going on right now? So in the same way we did the exercise of looking in the camera and looking at ourselves, this is where we look at our life and we look and we see what's going on around us. So wherever you are sitting, wherever you are right now, I want you to take a minute and scan around you to see what is going on around you. And in the similar way that we did the exercise, what do you see? What do you see going on around you right now? And just to take note of it, just to pay attention to everything you see. Try very much to not put it through the lens of judgment. We've just learned about that. Do not put it through the lens of your opinion of what you see. What do you see? I see crystal grids behind me. I see a candle burning. I see a flipboard behind me. I see the pictures on the wall behind me. What do you see around you? Just take a minute. I'm just going to give you a second to scan around them. And as you start to become aware of everything going on around you, I'm assuming you're in a place that is yours because you can't really be moving around too much at the moment. Is I want you to start now looking at how do you feel when you look at the things around you. As you just start to notice, what are the things that feel lovely for you? What are the things that feel draining for you? What are the things that feel blocking? What's going on around you? And the thing that's maybe starting to become aware of is that everything that's going on around you has some sort of interplay and interaction with you. It relates to you in some way. If we think of the infinity symbol and energy and how it flows, everything that's going on around me has some sort of interplay and reaction and interreaction to me. And there's some spiritual principles that talk about if you want to know what's going on for somebody, look around them. Look at their car, look at their desk, look at their bedroom, look at their house, look at what's going on around them, and it'll give you an indication of what's going on inside. And whether we agree with this principle or not, there's often a relationship between these things. And so one of the most important aspects of working with the law of clarity is to clear away the clutter. Remember, I spoke about cleaning up the way we see things, clearing up the way we think about things, cleaning up what's going on. And I cannot tell you how often the most important thing that comes forward from the guides and the guidance is to clean up that drawer, clean up the desk, clean out your closet, clean out the papers, clean out the stuff. And when cleaning up, it's not cleaning up with the intention of judging yourself, it's clearing away everything that no longer serves you. Clearing away everything that holds you feeling trapped, insecure, and judged. And the way the guidance comes forward around clearing the clutter is to walk around, and if something feels heavy, drains you, no longer serves you, even if it was a gift from your grandmother, even if it cost you a lot of money, is to release that. Free yourself so that you can open up and create space for that which you want. But if I'm holding on, remember the law of clarity has got to do with the law of manifestation, about bringing things into form. But I cannot bring anything into form if I'm surrounded by clutter. If I'm wanting to get clear about my work, I need to clear my desk. And it doesn't mean having it in perfect shape, like it mustn't be OCD necessarily. But I know personally through my own experience, when I clean things up, I get clearer about what I'm going to do. When I clear up my to-do list, when I make space for things to change in my life. And whatever I clear on the outside, I clear on the inside. And so I know it's probably not the thing that you thought of you would be signing up to here tonight. But the most important aspect of being able to get clear about what you want in your life is to clean up the clutter. I think, I can't remember who said it to me, but somebody said they were cleaning out the Wendy house and they're facing the past. Yeah? This is a way of clearing things out, cleaning things up. And it frees up psychic load, it frees up energy, it frees up space and helps us get clearer and clearer. So when you don't know what to do, clean something, clear out something. It doesn't have to relate to anything. And suddenly you'll start knowing what to do. And small clearing out a drawer, clearing out a space, clearing out tiny things lead to magnificent things. So a couple of you were even bringing that up earlier in the call around needing to deal with your clutter. So the next thing is clear about what you want. So I'm going to go through these two very quickly because I want to do the meditation with those that are willing to hang around. Is to be clear about what you want means that you can state very clearly what you want. So how easily do the words I want flow from your lips? And if you start off sentences with I'm sorry, but can you help me? I'm sorry, can you do this? I'm sorry. Then that is not clear about what you want. That's apologizing. There's nothing you need to apologize unless you've done something wrong. There are many times when I hear people saying, especially with the law of manifestation, I don't want a lot, I just want enough. Now, what do you want? State what you want. And those of you that have done the Healing Your Relationship with Money course with me will know what think of pizza means right now. Is that when I walk into a pizza store, you can't walk into a pizza store at the moment when you are phoning for pizza if you wanted to do that. Yeah. Is what do you want? You don't go, give me some kind of pizza. Any kind of, I don't really want to bug you too much. So, like anything that's easiest for you, please will you just do that? You know, and then you'll get what you get. But you're clear. I want a margarita with thin base, small size, whatever you want. You're able to state it very clearly about pizza, but not about your life. And one of the things that's really making homemade pizza, exactly, that's a new world. The ability to state clearly in relationships what you want. So Brené Brown has a statement that says to be clear is to be kind. Unclear is unkind. Think back to the example I was giving about relationships. When I'm clear about what I want from you, then you can choose to do it or not do it. And this comes to what I want in terms of the way you treat me. This comes to sexuality. This comes to boundary setting. It comes to all these things. If I want you to not touch me in this way or touch me in that way. If I want you to not speak to me in this way or speak to me in that way. Being clear with people is a form of creating clarity. Eric has an amazing statement. He always says to me, ask for what you want 100% of the time and then be okay if the answer's no. And the okay if the answer's no means I'm not going to fall apart, but I'm able to answer yes or no. I can do that, or I can't do it. To be clear is to be kind. So we're not going to go into a lot of this tonight, but these are the various principles of the law of clarity. And being able to state very clearly what I want. And those of you that find that difficult, the law of decree is a really important law to work with. And the last thing before we go into the meditation is clear about what you do. This is going to sound a little bit paradoxical to the way that I've been talking about things. But clear about what you do is do something. Action is energy. Action makes things happen. And so sitting thinking about what to do is not the same as doing something, clearing my desk, phoning this, doing that. Taking action always unfolds the next step. You will get clear when you act. This doesn't mean being busy. This just means doing what's next, doing the thing that needs to be done, doing the thing that you're inspired to do, taking that step, taking the action. Clarity comes to those that are walking. Clarity comes to those that are busy making way forward. And so if I don't know what to do about my finances, do something. Print your bank account, look at the statement, do what needs to be done there. If I don't know what to do about my weight, do something. Get on the scale, change your meal, do one thing, do something. So I'm going to pause here, and I realize that it is 8:20. So we might go sort of 10 minutes after 8:30 if that's a challenge for you, and I understand if you need to leave at 8:30. But I'm going to take you through a meditation now. So those of you that would like to be led through a meditation by Archangel Gabriel, really working with this law of clarity and engaging it in a way that you can experience in your energy field, we're going to be doing that now. So if you need to disappear, I understand, but the meditation will be about 10-15 minutes, and then we will wrap up tonight. So if you have to leave, I love you all. It's been wonderful having you here, and you'll get the recording tomorrow, and you can watch the end then and get the meditation whenever you want to. Right, so what I'm going to ask you to do, you can switch off your screens if you'd like to, so that you know that you have some space where you're just in your own bubble. And if you have a piece of clear quartz, the two crystals that are the most profound crystals to work with for the law of clarity is clear quartz. Clear quartz, if you have a clear quartz skull, even better. Clear quartz skulls are amazing for clarity. The other crystal that you can work with is a Herkimer diamond. So crystals, clear quartz and Herkimer diamond are the two go-to crystals to work with for the law of clarity. And so if you do have one, you can hold it in your hands, and what the crystal can do is it can actually program the energy that comes forward through the transmission for this meditation. So that can be a crystal that you can work with continuously around this clarity and getting clear and finding perspective. And so we're going to be working on seeing things through multiple lenses and multiple perspectives. I wish I could tell you what to expect in the meditation, but I can't, because I don't know where Archangel Gabriel is going to take us. So we will open it up and explore it. Right, so take a minute, and you can close your eyes and just find yourself getting comfortable wherever you are. Wherever you are, the most important thing is to get comfortable. What do you need to do to become comfortable? Do you need to move your body? Do you need to change anything? Do you need to shift your breath? Do you need to move your neck or your shoulders? Do you need to stretch? Do you need to wrap yourself in a blanket? Comfort is the number one goal to go into the space we're about to go into. Scan your body from the top of your head, slowly and gently, all the way down to the bottom of your feet. And just become aware of all the physical sensations in your body. No judgment, no opinion, just awareness. Whatever you become aware of, Just send loving attention to it. I see you. I feel you. I hear you. I love you. Just notice from the top of your head all the way down your body, all the way down to the base of your spine, down your legs to your feet. And as you do that, just start scanning again, scanning from the top of your head all the way down, pausing, noticing, loving every muscle, every fiber of this beautiful being called you. Scanning, seeing, reflecting, loving you. Take a deep breath in. Just become aware of how you interact with your breath. The relationship between you and the world exists in your breath. Take it in and you let it out. The ebb and flow of life, in and out, in and out. Start to find your own rhythm as your body naturally breathes and interacts with the energy around you. The rhythm of your breath is a pulse in your life. Notice it. Notice the pulse between you and life. As you align yourself with the rhythm of your breath, your body starts to relax even deeper, becoming one with your environment, one with the chair or the bed or the floor that you're on. All is connected and all is one. As you notice the pulse within and without, become aware of your heart center. The heart center is the beacon for life, the beacon for light. It's the opening to the divine, the opening to life, and the opening to love. Feel your heart opening, expanding, allowing, creating space. Space to breathe, space to receive, space to love, space to expand. As you continue to allow your heart to expand open, Archangel Gabriel steps forward into your space. She lovingly comes in to support your opening. As you open up, she's here to help clear away anything that stands between you and all you desire. Clearing away old thoughts, allow her to help you clear away old thoughts. Clearing away old coping mechanisms, things that you've been doing to try to feel better that may no longer be working for you. Archangel Gabriel scans your energy field and helps you release and clear away anything that is an old coping pattern. Let her show you what needs to be cleared away. Let her guide you through the journey of releasing, cleaning, and allowing what no longer serves to be moved away. As Archangel Gabriel continues to lead you through a spiritual declutter, an energetic detox, helping you face and release all that can be done today. Let us show you what you need to see. Move what needs to be moved. And clear away all that needs to be cleared away. She moves around you lovingly, gently, supportively. Packing things up, sweeping up the cobwebs. Just become open to all she shows you. So Archangel Gabriel shows you how to clean up your life, how to clear away your clutter. She steps forward with the gift of a mirror. A mirror for you to see things clearly, to see yourself clearly, to see your life clearly, to see the world clearly. As she brings forward this mirror, she holds it in front of you to show you what you need to see in it. Just let her show you what you need to see. As she shows you what you need to see, as she starts to get ready to wrap this up, she wants to give you the gift of one thing you need to do. One action to support your path forward. Just become aware of what she asks you to do. She leaves you with a message of clear thoughts, clear heart, clear sight, and clear love. And she folds the mirror into your arms, giving it to you as your piece of magic for clarity. And you can open up your heart at any point to see what you need to see clearly. As she bows towards you in grace and makes her exit, you start to pull your energy back into you, allowing yourself to bring all your energy back to you. Bringing with you the gift of clarity, you start to come back into the here and now, moving your fingers and your toes. And just allowing yourself to come back into the present moment of here and now. Alright, if anybody wants to share anything, you can do so on the chat box. Oh, I love being with the energies. I'm so glad. So glad. Just take a minute and reconnect in, and I'm just really going to finish this off very quickly. Just ignore any background noise, I apologize. Oh, I'm so glad, Diane. So as we wrap up tonight, and I apologize, it went slightly over. The song that has come up as the clarity song is obviously going to be no surprise to many. Is I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. And I encourage you to go and find that song. I will send it to you tomorrow as well, that you can have a look at it. And to start embracing the practical things that they've asked you to do today. And to work with your crystal, and you can listen to the meditation as many times as you want. And so the law of clarity can help shift things for you. So thank you very much. Thank you for your time, your energy, being a part of this. And I will send this to you tomorrow. And if you want to be a part of any of the other laws, you can take notes of the dates that are there. I'll send you that information tomorrow. Sending you lots of love, your amazing souls. Thank you for being clear and being here. Sending you lots of love. Namaste.